Is Etsy passive income real? Is it possible? Does it exist? Let's discuss. Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to the Handmade and Beyond podcast. I'm your host, LL. Glad to be back with you guys, hanging out, talking about Etsy and talking about strategies, tips, pointers to help you guys with your Etsy business. And today I have a hot topic episode for you guys. It is passive income. Is it possible on Etsy? I want to talk about it, give you some pointers about it, some insight about it, so you can decide for yourself if it's possible and if it's something that you want to attempt. So I'm sure you've heard the term passive income before. If you haven't, it basically means that you get paid over and over again for little or no work. I think a lot more people think that there's no work involved whatsoever than any work, but that is kind of a short and sweet insight into what passive income is. So really, I think a lot of people's mindset and people are drawn to passive income because they think it means free money. No work at all. But I hate to break it to you. There is going to be some work. Passive income with absolutely no work really doesn't exist at all. So at a minimum, at the bare minimum, you have to do work on the front end to get it set up, and then maybe on the back end, as things are set up and selling, it's going to be little or no work or minimal work on the back end. That is always the goal if you want to participate in a passive income strategy or a passive income business. But today, obviously, I want to tie this into Etsy and talk specifically about passive income on Etsy, because a lot of people are trying to do it, attempting it, and I think there's just a lot of misconceptions, a lot of things that people don't understand when it comes to passive income. So is it possible on Etsy? I would say that yes, it is possible, but in some ways, but with no work, it's not possible. You have to at least put in some work for it to be possible for you. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But you can sell passive income products, meaning that you can create them and then they can sell over and over again. And I'm going to talk about those specific niches and products next. But that's kind of the goal, right? You do the work on the front end, you create these products, and then you put them for sale, and they sell, and they can sell over and over again. So what are some of the passive income products or niches that you can do or get involved in with your Etsy business, or if you're starting a new Etsy shop? So the first one is printables. So this is stuff that basically people will buy and you can sell it over and over again. It's a digital item. And these are things that you can create for people that need them, such as calendars, checklists, guides, templates, designs, all types of things. Basically any type of thing that someone can get from you, print out, and then obviously you can sell it as many times as you want because it's a digital item. There's no kind of limit. There's no quantity limit. The next type of product or niche that you can do is learning materials. This could be, again, guides, printable items, or you can also do videos, courses, things of that nature where they would have to download the video. So that is a possible product for you. The other thing is music. You can do music, you can do MP4s, MP3s, MP4s video. You can mix music, make music, and then sell it on Etsy as a download. And again, it's passive because you can sell it over and over again. Basically, people are paying you for the license to it. The last example I have for you is print on demand, POD. So basically what this means is another company will produce the item for you. So you come up with the design and you put it on a product, and then you can sync. There's a couple of POD companies that actually sync with Etsy. So for instance, if you create a design on a t-shirt, someone buys it, it goes to that POD company, they print it, they ship it for you. So it's kind of hands off. This could be shirts, hats, mugs, keychains, anything, any type of accessory or clothing type of item that's probably out there as far as POD, and it's become really, really big because of just the fact that it's perceived as being easier. And in the next segment, I'm gonna dive into all the pitfalls and problems when it comes to passive income. The other thing that you have to be mindful of when it comes to these type of printables or digital items, some of the other ones that I was talking about earlier, is the quote unquote licensing it. You don't want people buying those items from you, those designs, and then reselling them. So you have to make sure you're clear with how your terms of use, your licensing is, so you have a leg to stand on if you do see someone, okay, they bought this checklist from you. Now you see them start an Etsy shop and selling your checklist that they bought from you. People shouldn't be able to do that, and that's where you have to have in your terms of service or your licensing as part of that purchase that, hey, it's only for personal use. So that's kind of like a bonus tip for you guys. All right, so let's dive into the pitfalls of passive income products and niches. These are kind of the things that people run into a lot, and a lot of people don't really talk about these things when they're like, oh, start a passive income business and you'll be a millionaire and yada, yada, yada. They don't talk about the real true ins and outs and pitfalls of passive income. So the first is you do have to put in the work on the front end, meaning you have to do product research, you have to do keyword research, you have to make the products, make the designs, and then you have to list the products, out there. So that's quite a bit of work if you're doing things the right way. You can't just quickly create something and throw it out there. It's not going to sell if you're taking the easy way out, which unfortunately a lot of people do, because the quote unquote passive income, POD, print on demand, printable type stuff it has a perception of being easy and quick. But if you're doing it easy and you're doing it quickly, it's probably not going to be good enough to sell, and people aren't going to buy it. So you're just wasting your time. And you can't run a fly-by-night Etsy passive income shop. It's not going to work for you. The next thing is you have to continue to add new products to your shop, do research, not sit it and forget it. Your shop will wither away if you do this. You have to continue to work on it. And also, just because you list products doesn't mean that they will sell. You have to adjust them, improve performance, tweak them. So that's another thing. A lot of people will do this. They're like, okay, well, I do this work on the front end, and then I'm done. Then it's just things are going to sell, and I'm going to ride off into the sunset. Again, that is a misconception. You have to continue to work on your shop. The algorithm is going to see that you're not adding new stuff, you're not working on your shop, so you're not going to get sales. And chances are the majority of products that you start with aren't going to sell, and you're going to have to pivot, learn from what your customers are telling you, learn from the stats and different things like that, so you can pivot, adjust, and eventually come up with products that are going to be winners, best sellers, and products that are going to sell. So again, even though you may have products that will sell down the road and then you don't really have to mess with them later, that's going to be few and far between, especially at the beginning of your journey. You have to go into it thinking that this is going to be a job, it is going to be work, and it's not going to be easy. Kind of along those same lines, again, it's not going to be easy to get sales. These type of products and niches are very competitive because of the ease of putting the products out there. Like I just talked about, you can do it really quick, and then you don't have the back end work as far as making the products. You should have the back end work of adjusting stuff and continue to work on your shop. But the problem is, even though it's competitive, there's a lack of quality products or well thought out products. You have to learn and really get to know your niche and your target market. You also need more than just a couple of listings. Again, you have to continually add stuff, work on what you have, and all throughout that journey, that process, you're going to get better at keywords, better at SEO, better at marketing. So then your stuff can start to perform better and start to sell. Another kind of pitfall is your margins are usually smaller, especially when it comes to POD. With POD, you're losing a lot of your profits because someone else is making your item. You don't have to buy the equipment, you don't have to spend the time making the item, but you're trading that for lower profit margin because they're doing it for you. So you have to be really, really careful, running a POD business because your margins are super tight. You don't have as much money for sales and promotions. You can't list your items that much higher because it's going to be the top tier pricing. People aren't going to spend that much. So you have to be really, really careful with who you're choosing as your POD company and the pricing that you set. Are you still going to be able to pay for fees? Are you going to still be able to do sales and promotions? Do you have enough wiggle room to help your conversions and help things sell? So that is really important, and that is a big pitfall of using POD rather than doing it yourself. With printables, since they're a download, a digital item, the price point is usually smaller. So this is something that you have to consider as well. You may only be able to sell, if you're selling like printable stickers, you may only be able to sell them for $2 or $3 a pop. So you got to sell a lot more to make a decent amount of money with digital items and with printables. The exception is maybe you have a super rare or exclusive or uncommon niche that you found or tapped into. Then maybe your price point can go up to an upper level because you're offering something that is not out there, not a lot of people have. So here are some final thoughts about passive income on Etsy. If this is a niche you're wanting to do that you're passionate about, then don't let this deter you. Yes, there are pitfalls. There are differences with passive income type products that you have to consider. But the main reason a lot of these type of shops don't do well is because of two things. They don't have a clearly defined niche. They try to sell everything to everybody, which is a huge mistake. And they have all types of products, all types of subject matters, all types of items out there that it's just it's like a yard sale mess. The algorithm doesn't know what the heck they're doing. They can't categorize their shop. They don't know who to send traffic. They don't know who to target and send traffic to your shop because you are all over the place. You have to have a clearly defined niche and tap into that and continue to work on it and build on it before you will get traffic sent your way. The second reason is that a lot of these shops that aren't successful or don't last is because people want a quick buck. They're not passionate about what they're doing. They're just throwing stuff up there and being like, oh, I want to create a passive income business for the money only. I don't really care about the stuff I'm selling. I don't really care about this. I just want the money. Well, I can guarantee you those shops aren't going to last because they're not going to get sales. Things are going to get tough. And it's really hard to stick with something if you're not passionate about it and you just want the money. You're not going to last. You don't have any skin in the game. So you have to be passionate about it. If it's something you care about, you're passionate about, then you can make it work. Just understand that it's going to take time. There's going to be a learning curve, and you have to embrace and follow the journey. So that is something to keep in mind. You have to keep going. There's going to be a lot of minutia out there, a lot of shops that have garbage out there. But if you're focusing on quality, really hammering on your niche and finding great products, creating great products for your niche, then you should be able to come out ahead of these other garbage shops down the road. So those are a couple final thoughts to consider. Just know this type of business is possible, but it's not what they say. You're always going to have to put in some type of work. Will things get easier? Will you have to put in less work if you find some successful products and some successful niches to do this with? Absolutely. That is absolutely possible. But don't ever go into this type of business being like, it's never going to be any work, or I'm going to do the initial work and then never do any work again. That is just not possible. That is a flawed misconception. So just keep that in mind. That is it for this episode. Those are my 2 cents on passive income. As we are approaching Black Friday, if you haven't already, make sure you get my Black Friday playbook. It has overview of important sales dates, strategies and ideas, and promotional marketing strategies you guys can implement to have a successful Black Friday, which is coming up before you know it. Make sure you guys get it at handmadeandbeyond.com/Black Friday. That's it for this episode, guys. I'll be back soon with another episode for you. Have an amazing rest of your day.